in this computer. Okay, now we're recording. Okay, hello everybody. Today is the first Planetary Healing Call to Action for 2019. And we find ourselves in a strange position. We were working on something altogether new, and my daughter's partner of like 30 years is on life support. And
oh gosh, Nikki.
They want to unplug him today, and I'm trying to get there in time, and they canceled my flight. And now we've found a flight they'll let me on earlier, but I might have to leave early to get it. We're just following things closely. In the meantime, this is my husband, Mark.
Hi, everybody.
My beloved Mark Haller.
I'm going to step in when Nikki steps out. So hopefully it'll be seamless. And I think most of what I'll be handling is questions and answers.
When we looked for something to do, I was actually looking for something with Hathor. And Mark came upon this nest, only there was no Hathor there. In fact, as we studied it and got more and more information, we realized that we were being taken back to a time when life first began to permeate our known universe. It's as though life is always on the prowl, looking for a place to get started in this dimension. And we used to be more connected when we...
There's a really windy sound.
Yeah, somebody please mute yourself. If everybody mutes yourself, we don't have to mute you. Okay, so we used to be more connected when we first became part of this dimension, when consciousness first came into what became human beings. But we've become both divisive and complacent. And so in this work, we're going to bypass the known universe, and we're going to cross over into a parallel dimension that is older than we can imagine. Go ahead and put what you know on that.
So imagine a time before the invention of time. If you can, we were brought up comfortable with the concept of the Big Bang, and that was the beginning of space, time, matter. That was a point. But there was, the sentence before time is a little ridiculous, because before doesn't work if there's no time. But there's other dimensions and other ways to swim in that reality. And that's where we're going with this group today, and with our guided meditation. We're going to explore a dimension that existed before our universe gave it reality.
So what Mark discovered was a nest in what seemed like a cave that had an opening above it, but it was actually not a part of our planet. And the beings inside it were all nestled together, like if you've seen the penguins, how they huddle together in the winter to warm each other and to warm their eggs that they're gestating. and that's the only way they survive. Well, this consciousness, I can't say beings because they're not really beings, are like that, and they've occupied this nest, and it's grown and it's grown over the eons, but it's in this parallel universe.
Again, your imagination has to accept the concept of beings, since we are pre-air. Just imagine how different everything about these beings is. If there's blood, or if there's some other form of liquid, if they don't have lungs, if there's some other way they survive, we're before the lungs were developed.
But what we're going to attempt to do is communicate with them and ask for help, because they've been around so much longer than we have, that they hold all the wisdom of everything they've experienced throughout these eons. And so the trick is, how do we connect with them? And what do we ask for once we do? So the first thing is that, like with all our ceremonies, we're going to heart breathe and connect ourselves first. And many of you have done this, but I know there's some new people on, so I'll have to show you how we heart breathe. And we start by focusing on and finding our heart flame, our inner heart flame, that aspect of our soul. Please mute yourselves.
Thank you.
When you find that flame, feed it with love. Love is the fuel. So as you pour love on your flame, it will brighten and intensify. Now begin to inhale from the heart of the earth, as though you're reaching with your consciousness down to as close as you can get to the fiery core of the earth, and you're going to draw up that power, that invigorating energy, and all the elements of the earth and all the healing properties of the earth, the gems and minerals and the roots and plants and trees. And you inhale all that power up to your heart. You mix it with your love while you hold your breath, and then you release it from your heart in every direction. And then do it again. Inhale from the earth. Hold your breath while it mixes with your love. And then exhale in every direction. Now the other part of the breath is drawing down the intelligence from the sky being. Debbie, mute the house, please.
No.
Pull down the intelligence from all the celestial bodies and celestial beings and the field of consciousness in which we're all suspended. So just draw that down with your breath, deep breath to your heart. Hold your breath while it mixes with your love. Exhale it. Do it one more time. Inhale from the sky, all that intelligence, mix it with your love, and then. Now the heart breath is when you do both simultaneously. So together now, everybody, inhale from the heart of the earth and the heart of the cosmos simultaneously. Hold your breath while it mixes with the love. You continue to pour on your flame and then exhale. Inhale again. Hold it while you mix it with the love you're putting on your flame. And then exhale again. This time when you inhale from earth and sky, while you hold your breath and pour love, determine to direct this breath so that it reaches the heart flame of the person nearest you on this call. And it goes around and all around the planet where people are on this call. They're connected to this central heart flame. And it makes a really bright glow. It's so bright that it invites all the beings that have ever been on this call, ever helped me, the entire Egyptian pantheon, which is my family. Invite and invoke your spirit guides and just feel how the space surrounding the globe fills up with people who want to help us. And they want to be able to connect with this age-old wisdom as well. This is for all of us because we're all connected. So the first thing that you do once you feel this connection is you acknowledge where we've come from. Your spiritual lineage, your blood lineage, your tribal lineage, all these connections back through time. And then give thanks from a place of humility that we're still alive. We still have our beautiful world. We may be in dire trouble on the planet right now, but we still have it, and we have our children and our grandchildren and their grandchildren to think of. And so humbly give thanks that we've made it this far, and salute the help that has guided us through our evolution. As far back as creating the oceans, the atmosphere, the tides, there's been so much magic associated with our evolution, and we need to acknowledge that and honor that. And now, instead of looking forward, I'm going to ask you to, in your mind, turn around and embrace the past. And in doing so, let your prayers and wishes be known. You want to be an active part of where we go from here, of the evolution as we go forward. We want our communities to join together, to work together, to get us over this situation that we've gotten ourselves into. So to do that, we're going to have to think about embracing the bacteria and the fungi and the grubs and the not such pretty things that are vital to our evolution. Everything is vital. Everything that is positive for life And those things that aren't, how can we make them positive? This other dimension, this nest that Mark saw, is just around the corner all the time. And perhaps you can see it too. It's as though it's in a bubble of a place so old that it looks like just a burnt out piece of material in another dimension. But inside this cave, in this opening, there's just a trickle of water, and there's just enough atmosphere of some kind that allows this life form to exist. And every thought, every experience seems to roll through it. And then it sloshes back and forth inside the nest until it calms down. And right now, our presence is sloshing back and forth until it calms down. Now, we have plenty of earth things to think about. So you want to begin to focus on those things that you know need repair. And please remember my son-in-law, Mark Benvenisti, who's on life support, and they want to take him off life support today. And I'm rushing down there to do what I can to try and help, because with the right miracle, he can come back. He can still come back. He's already beat pneumonia. He's beat candida. He's beat this flu that's out there that's both bacterial and virus. But his lungs are in trouble. There's scar tissue and the oxygen's not getting through. So please pray for him and remember him while we continue. Do you have something to add?
Evolution. We are part of it. It's been going on. It will continue to go on. And we're seeking a symbiotic relationship with intelligence and all forms of life, including the ones invading Marcos's body right now. We're looking for like a treaty, because we can feed, we can be fed by all of what have been
the ancient past.
What they've been challenges to survival, and now we're looking at them different. They're our allies. We're not trying to create a genocide and get rid of these. We want to know how to live with.
To make them nourishing, just like antibiotics have learned to make the things that we create to kill them nourishing and stop working for us. So we're going in the wrong direction. We have to embrace them in a new way. And we have to do so with such humility and respect. And with all the help of all the beings that have come to support us in this work.
A real quick note, though, there's been a controversy about the word evolution, and to the point where some people argue evolution is a theory And to listen to them seems like they're arguing theory is Latin for I don't know. There's we are changing. We will continue to change, and we have historical records of incredible changes in all types of life forms, and we just want to be a little closer to the steering wheel.
As ancient as this continuous connection is, there's always the possibility of something new having impact on the nest that we're attempting to connect to and on us. Now is the time to allow the best possible thoughts that will help civilization and our future generations. These improvements to the quality of life have been leaking out into the world from the nest for eons, and now it's a good time for us to participate consciously.
The nest, keep in mind, we're talking about a dimension that is alien to us. The life forms aren't breathing like we're used to breathing. The atmosphere they're in is not the 20% oxygen, 80% nitrogen. Everything about it is different, even though there are similarities in the water they have to the water we have.
And so I ask you to try your best to be in communion with this nest that is listening to us. They hear. They may not speak so clearly, but they do hear.
From our heart.
What would it take to provide clean drinking water to those who don't have it? What would it take to reverse the fouling of the oceans? And you can take it from there. I'm going to leave you with some silence to find your own contributions that will start affecting your imagination now that you're aware of the nest that you are also a part of. Sometimes new ideas help. But remember, it can fade like a dream if you don't put it on paper or record it some other way, and then usher the refined thought into the consciousness of those who are able to act upon it. So just asking isn't enough. It's up to you to translate the knowledge you get and make it available to the world. Now, some silence.
And remember, English is not their first language.
But your heart is.
You're going to have to discover how to communicate, both giving and receiving.
I'm going to ask that if any of you feel a strong connection with this nest and have a contribution, please raise your hand, and Debbie will make it okay for you to speak. But be aware, we're all in journey. We're in ceremony.
We're in trance.
So there was a hand up at Nicole's, and I'm just unmuting them and spotlighting.
Go ahead.
When I connected with this nest, I was overwhelmed with the unconditional love. It was the most purest vibration of energy, of love. And the more I connected with it, the more I was able to give it. I could see why it was an egg. It was this circle of unity. And I just had all this gratitude to be a part of that.
Thank you. I hope what you say helps others to be able to connect as deeply as you are able to, because there's so much work for us to do, and we still have more time before we close this ceremony.
But it's a good time to remind you that the difference in dimensions will show itself to you in sometimes confusing ways. Sometimes you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, I'm speaking interdimensionally, or thinking or feeling or transmitting interdimensionally to a species unlike any other.
Judy Ann wanted to share.
Yes, what I got was when we first started, there was like a diamond that's going into the earth and then going up to
Speak
the
a little
nest.
louder.
It's going up to the nest, the energy, okay? And it's kind of like a diamond that's going into the earth first, and it's going up to the nest. And when we tuned in, it's like a spiral, it's going clockwise. And when we tuned in for help, all these like sparks started leaving, and now it's going into the earth and all over the earth. It's like covering the earth. So this is working, and
it's continuing.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Judy Ann.
Okay.
Thank you. So let's have another few minutes of silence to allow this new information to take hold. Are there any other hands up, Debbie?
Just a second. I don't see any right now. One of the things that I felt is that there's the connection between those in the nest is very symbiotic, that they share the energy that comes in, they share thought, they share heart.
When I was first introduced, there was
present tense. There is.
there is not much in the way of bone and gristle and things that would interfere with the flow of waves and other forms of energy. So an idea or an emotion could start anywhere and it would transfer from one to the other and back again.
Mhm.
Just remember, this is an ongoing ceremony and we're in it. So speak as though it's happening, not like it happened.
Okay. Darlene has her hand up. I'm just unmuting her.
Hello, Nikki.
Darlene, go ahead.
Somebody needs to mute.
I asked the question, what can they do? And then I received an answer. It's more like transforming things back into its original matrix where it did work, and kind of putting it back into alignment with the universe. And that's the metaphor I'm using. That's all.
Thank you.
Tammy, just a minute. No, I will unmute you. Tammy.
Imagine
We're there now.
Turn it down.
Okay.
the hive as a bee's hive. The nectar, the honey that flows through that hive is alchemical gold. The thoughts that emanate through the hive cause no reaction. They're shared, absorbed. The flow, ebb and flow. As a new energy enters, it doesn't disturb, it just integrates. And imagine each of us in our own octagon in the hive, sharing in that way. Feeling the infinity of the thoughts and the breath going in and right back out and through. Imagine if this hive now becomes lungs, the way that oxygen is exchanged in the lungs. It's a simultaneous inhalation and exhalation. It's a simultaneous exchange. And imagining DNA proliferating in this way. Creation, thought becoming things from this source.
Excellent. Thank you, Tammy.
Elizabeth, you're unmuted. To find you to spell.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm having an experience with the beings inside the nest and the beings that are coming in now on our planet. And the form of communication comes from the heart with them. It's felt, it's not heard, it's not spoken. And so when we are engaged with the youth that are around us, whether they be our own or others, they want to communicate with us through this heart, and this nest is what's feeding us now. And it is, I don't know how to describe it other than
reciprocal.
This movement, yes. And it's important for us to reacclimate to that form of communication with each other, not just with the youth, but for all of us that are here now, that have been here for a while. Gosh, my heart is just, that's what I feel like is needing to be shared.
Thank you.
Jill has her hand up.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, everyone. I'm having an issue with my video. So it's interesting that while we're in this space and I can hear and communicate with all of you, I can see you, but you can't see me. And I'm realizing that no matter what we're communicating with, whether it's animate, inanimate, animal, plant, people, that we all communicate differently, and we're having to find new ways to communicate, and we don't know what to do because we've never been here before. So it's exciting and nervous and frustrating and wonderful and beautiful, and it's all there. But all of the exchange is happening because all of us are exchanging together, and we're raising a vibration and raising our information, and so much is happening all, like she said, simultaneously, instantly, that anything is possible. Anything is possible, and it's all available. So maintaining that higher vibration and just expressing the love from the heart and the high heart, and asking that other form or non-form to express back to me, I feel like that's where we don't know what's going to happen, but it's so amazing.
Well said.
It's so amazing. So thank you. I think we all get to share.
I would like to take that one step further. Everyone who's connected to this journey by way of watching the recording, you're as present with us as you can be. It's just we have put out the invitation so that even if someone listens to a recording of this a year from now, they're present and they're working their magic right along with us.
Do you think that we're ready for gratitude and to come back and share? Or
Gratitude and respect, and humbly asking for further assistance.
so as we bring the ceremony to a close, knowing that it's ongoing and that what we've started here and what we felt here is not going to end, because we complete the ceremony. But we've given it enough of a jump start that as every new person listens, it will reinvigorate and expand and continue what we've started here. And then who knows, we'll do another call to action and we'll see what they give us next time.
And we'll also see what the participants give us, because everybody's working this situation, and answers will start leaking into our dimension.
And truth be told, we did not know this is how this was going to work. So I'm actually really excited for the way we're all working together. And I want to thank each and every one of you. And I want to thank all the beings throughout the universe who have joined us and are helping us. Each of you on the phone from wherever you are in the world, each of you listening to this recording whenever you are, and one little extra prayer for Marcos Benvenisti, that he'll...
Where is he, Nikki?
He's at Alta Bates Hospital in Berkeley in intensive care on life support.
They've had him in a coma
For about a week now.
Nikki, I'd just like to share what I saw when we were talking about Marcus during the journey. And there was a, the
We're still
being
there.
were absorbing the scar tissue. There was an exchange happening. And it was a mutually nourishing exchange. So
I felt it too, and I was using calendula a lot.
And then I would like to take it a step further then. There's so many people on the face of this earth who are in need. And even though we've come up with a name, a person, this reaches everybody who needs it.
Hopefully there'll just be this sudden, all of a sudden, people on life support all over the planet will start breathing on their own and coming back. And that's what I pray for. And I thank you all for all your help. And
Nikki has to leave for the airport. You'll notice that she's preparing for her departure. But I'm not going anywhere. Yes, there'll be a question and answer period. There's going to be time for people to share. But you can probably hear it in her voice. Nikki's preparing to put one foot out the door.
so I want to thank you all, and I'm just going to give over to Mark to complete. So
we're going to do a little do-si-do dance right now.
safe journey, Nick.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Love from Michael and Mariel and Nikki.
You bet.
Can you slip out now?
Yeah, here's the...
So while you're doing the crossover, I'd just like to read some of the messages that have come in on the chat.
Excellent.
Melissa Goodman shares a thought for lung healing. There is a genetic vibrant of humans, or vibration of humans that has a super ability to capture oxygen. Super long distance runners can do this with ease. When Nikki was talking about her son-in-law's lungs, this came to me very strongly.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for that.
Sure, everybody.
Computer one, I'm not sure who that is, but to me anyway, all communication is done through the heart, EM field, outside of time and space. Oh, Bob Smith.
Yes.
Yes. Jamie Givens, I kept seeing the nest of worms which vibrate in interaction with the symbiotic waves of energy from creation, emotion, intelligence, and respiration. That should be, okay, vibrate, yes.
Well said. The less dense material allows for the waves to go uninterrupted back and forth through all beings. Well said. I had seen grubs, and so for you to say worms, I like that.
Okay, just a minute, Judy Ann. I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
Hi, what I got too when I tuned into the son-in-law, there's energy that was brought in from a past life that popped up, and I helped it go on. And it was almost like it was time for it to leave, but it was hard for him to let it go at one point. And this has brought this energy to the up, and now it's gone. So he should
Excellent.
start to heal now.
And that brings up the point about the dimensions, the multitude of dimensions that we're working with. It's so easy to look around and imagine this is the world that's been handed me and I've learned to live in it. But then in doing so, you're ignoring the complexity of all of these other dimensions that we're also bathed in, we're working with, we're allowing information to pass through us, just like the previous caller. And that includes past live adventures. And what, you know, some people have reached a point on the wheel of life. It's time to move on. Some people want to stick around for a few more revolutions, but it's just one of the dimensions.
If anyone else would like to share, just you can either raise your hand on camera or use the raise hand on the Zoom. No one else? Oh, okay, Melissa, just a minute, and I'll unmute you.
Hi.
Okay.
When we started, we were trying to find a way in, and I thought, well, why not try Akka, because we want to make a connection that we can find again. And I find that very effective, and I've been doing that the whole time. And the Akka's from the heart connecting. And so I feel that screaming almost help, you know? And so what I'm getting back is two things. One is this flow, which is a very strange flow that's very hard for me to grasp. And other people talked about things that felt similar. I was focusing on healing water. And then the second thing that came after the flow was the experience of being blessed, being a blessed being, and residing in that being a blessed being.
That brings up another point. We're so unique, all of us, each one of us. We're brought into this world and pampered and loved, and sometimes we forget that we're in community. Sometimes that's something that comes later in life, acknowledgement of the importance of our participation in community. And today's journey was taking our responsibilities a step further, acknowledging the our participation over the eons in a larger community than we think about. It doesn't just, we don't wake up and think, I'm part of this world, I'm part of this universe, I'm part of everything that's ever happened that led to this moment in time. We usually think something a little more base. Get the day started. So,
Okay, just
yeah.
a second. Rita?
Yes, thank you. The feeling that I had as I was being introduced to the nest was from the heart, and in terms of the difference in my physical being and those whom we are reaching out to, was the same feeling for that I think we all have, that sense of a compassion, of maybe not understanding, but going beyond the understanding to the heartfelt love. So there was an acknowledgement and recognition of that sense that I was sharing, and I received that back. And when the suggestion for the opportunity to be given help in terms of our beloved Earth and all of its inhabitants, all life forms, because of the image that was early suggested of our water and air, I sensed that the nest dwellers thought, hey, gosh, no problem, here, it was as if the beautiful elemental properties, beings of our planet were are strong and wonderful and beautiful, and indeed are crucial to our human life. But they were given a bit of a sort of a booster and an infusion of this, the nest's recognition and acknowledgement and love. So I took heart and I thought, yippee, thank you. And just thank you to you, Mark and Nikki, and all the participants that we're able to join in this way. So I'm optimistic and appreciative.
I like the way you included, we're going beyond what we know. That opens so many doors. We are now acknowledging and working with entities that have been there, and I think they just sit around waiting for someone to ask. I've seen miracles. I've seen things happen that shouldn't happen. And the person somehow communicated their wish, and then their wish became manifest. So that's just another way to say to describe what we are doing right now.
Mark, Judy Ann would like to say something.
When one goes up with your mind's eye above the earth, and I can tune into the energy of people too, like this. But so when I tuned up before, the earth was heavy and it was kind of sluggish. Okay, so now it's brighter, and the energy and the frequency has gone higher. It's lighter and it's brighter, and it's like a ripple effect that's covering the whole earth. So
And how would you explain why is this happening?
Because we asked for help.
I like it.
We do not get help unless we ask. There's no interference. The universal law is that spirits cannot interfere in people's life, and it's with everything else. So when we ask for help and we acknowledge them, because they're pure light, they're pure. They have no ego.
That's right. They're not going to judge
no
what
ego.
we're asking.
No, it's just pure.
Thank you.
And it's a collection. It's a collection of this pureness that's in there. It's just pure light and it's pure love, and just ask and one receives.
You've got it.
Thank you.
So the frequency, as we speak, it just keeps on getting lighter and brighter and brighter.
Here we go, Mark.
What's he got, Deb?
I'm just seeing if there's anyone else that has a hand up.
Well, I'll tell you all what a pleasure it's been to sit here and work with you. I've traditionally I'm sitting just out of sight, and sometimes I might throw a word to Nikki if I find her looking for the word. But participating at this level has been a real honor, and I thank you. Nikki reminds me I'm not quite finished. There's an importance of everyone to truly complete this journey. The importance of grounding and centering, to look into your heart and to feel the breath, to feel the flame, to be aware of this dimension and everything that makes this dimension special. It's the one that you've been living in, and it's time to come back 100%. Don't drive until you are back.
And journal. Write it down.
Well said. Well said, Deb. Like Nikki has mentioned often, these insights you get seem so profound that you could never possibly forget. But it's like that profound dream you woke up from. And you could never possibly forget. But a couple hours later, you try to describe the dream and it's gone. Well, that's why you want to journal. Nikki hasn't left yet. She's still
I'm
hovering at the edges.
Out the door. I just need to show them how to turn off the recording. Did you ground them already?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
It's been my honor.
Okay, I'm going to turn the recording.
Be safe, guys.